Johnny Stones. Johnny Stones. Guys, City just beat Wolves 2-1. I am not well. I am not well at all, but I needed to jump on after that last-minute equaliser. I'm going to be honest with you, because I'm not feeling too great, and I've had a most mental week, which will all be revealed in time. I was considering just in my match reaction tomorrow if I felt better, when I thought it was going to be 1-1, because I didn't have the energy for sort of dealing with the breakdown of that. But I've had a coffee. John Stones scored. I got a shot of adrenaline from that, and I feel that I have to talk about that game of football, because it's a lot of negativity. There is, but there's also, there's also something you can take from that in terms of positivity. I'm not going to sit here at any point and tell you that was good enough. It isn't. I'm not going to insult your intelligence and be a happy clapper, which some of you pretend to have. I even hurt my finger drawing that game as well, like Bernardo. My son was very concerned about Bernardo Silva, by the way, when he's hurt. He said he was watching on my laptop and he saw him there and he was like, "What happened?" Yeah, he's okay. Bernardo's okay. Ruben, don't worry, mate. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you any of that was good today. It isn't. But, as MH96 said in the chat, that's why we are champions. Right now, I am very much in a headspace, and I'll talk about the players in a minute, but I'm talking broad strokes right now. I'm very much in the headspace of City sort of getting through while Pep does his tinkering thing and works out what is working, what isn't working, and tries to find a non-De Bruyne, non-Rodri solution. I said non-De Bruyne there because I'm not confident about De Bruyne returning anytime soon. And someone's already said in the chat, Daniel, Pep still hasn't found out what to do about Rodri. Still is a lot of work there, a big important word there. And that was what I was going to talk about. No manager in the world would fix this Rodri solution inside 4 or 5 games. No one will. No one would. Especially also the De Bruyne solution, which we haven't got currently. And there is something clearly going on with Phil Foden as well. I think there is. I think there's a lot going on right now. And I think it's going to take an awful long time. It just is. Like, when Guardiola comes up with an idea, it's usually a plan that takes a long time, weeks, months to put into fruition. Hence why we always see City not really get going until January, February or whatever. I'm not saying we will get going then. I'm not saying we will do. We might not this season. This might be the season we never do. But what I do know is that it does take time for a plan to work for Manchester City, usually. And it feels like the season's been going on forever, but it hasn't. It technically hasn't. We are only 8 games into the season. We're top of the league. We are unbeaten still. We're constantly without key players. No Ake, no Oscar Bob, no De Bruyne, no Rodri. It's been a really, really scrappy start to the season, and I don't feel this City side is anywhere near the level, and I don't think they are. And I would implore you to remember that the team knows that too. They do know that. Like Guardiola knows. Gundogan knows, the players know, Stones knows, Haaland knows, De Bruyne knows. They all know that this isn't the current level that Manchester City require. It isn't. Can we fix it? I don't know. I think if there's any manager in the world that I would trust to, it's Guardiola. We're just going to have to go through pain for a little bit. I don't really sort of believe in going too up or down from one game. Like some of you guys may, and maybe you think I'm being too laid back about it, and I respect that, but I don't really believe in jumping too far forward or too far back based off one game. I try and look at the spell that we're in based off previous years, based off what I know about Manchester City and Guardiola, and I try and work out where we're heading. And if there's any methods to his madness, And I understand what Guardiola's trying to do, even though I don't always agree with his decisions. I understand he's trying to find solutions. I understand that he's trying to move people around, work out how just best to fix the problems, which are a lack of a DM right now, a lack of maturity at the heart of midfield, a lack of pace on the counter. Every time we have to transition back to our own side, we just cannot deal with it. We can't do it defensively. We are all over the show, and teams always get big chances against us. Pipped with a super chat. Thank you very much, mate. He says, So many people asking for the goal to be denied when Arsenal do this every time, no problem. Yeah, the goal wasn't completely legit. Game wasn't great, though. We're toothless about KDB, especially against Liverpool, but in Pep we trust. That's how I feel, mate. We are toothless right now about KDB. We need to find a way around it. But yeah, that was never going to be ruled out, by the way. I panicked, so I'm not going to lie, when I saw him go to VAR, but as soon as I saw that, I thought, you can't rule that out. Thank you very much for Super Chat, mate. Absolutely right. You can't rule that out because he was totally fine. It was a perfectly good goal. Thanks to Howard Webb, by the way. Howard Webb was probably sat in that stadium somewhere on his phone, doing what apparently he did yesterday. Sorry for the sniffling as well. I can't help it. I'm really fighting the the runny nose today. But yeah, basically, I know it's frustrating. It wasn't good enough. It absolutely isn't. I'll show you the actual run of the game, by the way. Like, statistically, we deserved to win today, I would argue. We absolutely did. 1.71 XG compared to their 0.95. They had two. We didn't really have any technically big chances, but lots of half chances. Really good saves from Sarr a few times. Haaland didn't have his shooting boots on at all today. Scuffed one chance, and the other one he didn't even get shot off when he went down the right channel. Shot 22 shots. Obviously, Gvardiol scored an absolute screamer, as always, to level. Stones with the last-minute goal. On the balance of play, we probably deserve to win. I mean, the stats show it all. 78%, 22 shots. The XG says it all as well. We deserve to win. Does that mean we played well? No. Like, City can have that exact same stat sheet, but it can be way more impressive. If you know what I mean by that. It can feel more fluid. And it felt like we got a little bit lucky, if I'm being honest. We probably a good value for it. Oh, I didn't see that, Peter. Sorry, mate. Oh, Johnny. Sorry, Pete. I just missed that, mate. Pete with the just saying, let's fucking go. Johnny Stones, indeed. 48 months. Thank you so much, man. Pete's been a member of my channel for 4 years. That's twice the length of that my son's been born. That's crazy, mate. Thank you so much. Before I was even married or had this house or anything. Thank you so much, Pete. I really appreciate it. But yeah, like, on the balance of it, we do deserve that today in terms of it, but I don't think the performance was great. Like, statistically, better team, but we can be so much better than that. Like, what are the problems with this City side right now? I would argue, I'll look for the team. I'll show you the team right there, how it started. I mean, immediately, these guys here, Kovacic and Gundogan, they just cannot hold the fort there with Bernardo as well in the central midfield. Kovacic actually has decent acceleration, but he doesn't have good recovery pace. And recovery pace is not the same as going forward, darting past people pace. I don't know what it is, but recovery pace is often pace of choosing how to use it. Rodri probably isn't that much faster or as fast as Kovacic in a direct sprint race, but he just looks faster going backwards. Do you know what I mean by that? And I think it's how you position yourself with runs, who you choose to track, when you choose to commit, when you choose to harry, and like sort of, tussle with a player. Kovacic is not good at that at all. And I really like Kovacic as a footballer at his best, but he's not a natural as a defensive midfielder because he just hasn't got that experience there. Gundogan does not have the pace to go backwards. He just doesn't. And Bernardo Silva is not a number 6 either, so it's a slightly turgid midfield pace-wise. Bernardo is like all energy, but he's getting older too a little bit now. In the winter months, he's not going to be in the winter months when he feels that everything feels a little bit leggy. He's not going to be the one to sort of lead the charge there. He needs other legs around him. Now, people are already talking about Phil Foden and speculating and all that kind of stuff. I don't think there's anything wrong with Phil Foden and Guardiola. I do think something's going on, though. I think Pep's managing Phil, but for a reason that I don't think. If I was to get, I'm just guessing, pure speculation. I think this probably is something going on, but I don't think it's anything bad per se with the first team. I think sometimes something's just happening. I don't think it's got anything to do with us, and this is just me guessing. But I do feel Pep's managing Phil, but for his own good. Like I don't think Pep doesn't want Phil in the team. I just don't believe that. I just feel in my gut there's something going on. And it could be personal, I don't know. But I don't think it's professionalism. I don't think it's anything like that. I think Phil is just... Who knows, man? He will be there. He's had a slow start. Pep is infused about him. So much and how much he needs him and all that kind of stuff. It's one of those things where... I think we have to be patient. I don't think Pep wants to not have Foden in the team. I don't believe that for a second. It doesn't make sense. There's a theory in life. He had a serious case of COVID. He did indeed. There's a thing in life called, this is how I view most things in life. Occam's razor principle. So this is my sort of one of my problem-solving logics. It's a principle that suggests when facing multiple explanations for a phenomenon, the simplest explanation is usually the best. So basically, the simplest explanation is usually the best. And I know that sort of contradicts what I'm saying with Foden, but I guess the point I'm making is if it feels like something's going on with Foden, it probably is. It probably is, because there's no reason why Foden wouldn't be that uninvolved. And that's sort of how I feel about it. Like, I feel like there may be something going on that we don't know about, and we have to be patient. Like, I don't think we'll know, Andy, why we have to manage him, mate. I think it could be personal. It could be off the pitch stuff. It could be that he's struggling a little bit right now. It could be that he's struggling with illness personally. It could be that his form is not quite right and Pep wants something different. I don't know, man. I don't know, but I'm getting a vibe. Well, no, we will see. I don't think Gundogan played that great today. I don't think Gundogan was terrible. People are acting like he's really bad. I think Gundogan is sort of lacking. There's quality around him a little bit as well, if being honest. You got to bear in mind, Gundogan at his very best was playing alongside Rodri, De Bruyne, you know, everyone firing, and it's just like, I don't think the team is firing around him. And Gundogan also had people around him to make up for his physicality or lack of, and right now he doesn't. So we've got a guy who's readapting, who might not be as good as he was. It's possible. I don't know. I can't prove that categorically yet. But he also does not, and that's like, does not have the pace around him. Here's his stats from today, by the way. 89% pass accuracy, and 3 key passes, so he did have some key passes. 1 shot on target. It's more to me, the ground duels 6, only 1-1. So defensively, he lost the ball an awful lot as well. That is where I get concerned, admittedly. That's where I get concerned with Gundogan, losing the ball a lot. He feels... he's not doing the simple things very well. That's like turning into space and not getting caught on the ball. Gundogan's always been very good at that kind of stuff, which is Rodri's great at, you know. So it's one of those things where I don't know if I want Gvardiol in midfield either, because I don't know if Gvardiol has the recovery pace to play as a DM either, because playing as a DM, I would argue one of Gvardiol's weaknesses actually is we're being counted, because Gvardiol does not have. Gvardiol's not slow, but he hasn't got he hasn't got counter-attacking pace. Like, I would say Ake, Akanji, Walker are all notably faster going towards their own goal than Gvardiol. I don't think Gvardiol's slow, but I do think compared to when Ake's at left back, Ake covers the counter better. And that's not to say Gvardiol shouldn't be on the pitch there, but I don't think Gvardiol, if you put him in as a DM, would suddenly be able to fix that issue. I think learning that 360 thing is very hard. Gvardiol is going to stay where he is. He's not a lengthy runner. He's not. I don't think he's a midfielder either. I think he could be a midfielder in like 3 years from now if Guardiola stays. You know where John Stones got very close to, but after multiple seasons. And the reason it takes that long is because you're sort of retraining your whole mindset. And I don't think he's even close to that yet. He's been here for 1 year and 2 months, and it's not enough. I think he's going to take 2 or 3 years. Defensively, we are very, very, very open when we get countered. I don't feel as well when you look at Stones, Diaz, Gvardiol, even Rico to an extent, we have the pace to cover our deficiencies. I would absolutely have Akanji and Ake back in that side in some way defensively if we're going to be poor on the counter attack, because those two have pace to get back, and I think we're going to have that as an option, because we lack physicality right now. I mean, I look at that side and I'm going to go through them one by one. Gvardiol, physically strong. I would say slow going back towards his own goal. Ruben Diaz, slow going back to his own goal. John Stones is sort of 30, but looks like 30 going 35 sometimes, because he's not a young 30. Rico Lewis doesn't have the pace or physicality. Bernardo, Gundogan, and Kovacic cannot run towards their own goal. By the way, I want to give Savinho a little bit of credit for his work rate. Savinho, I thought, worked really hard today, and Doku does as well, to be fair to him. And Lewis, yeah, I'm going to be honest as well. Lewis, if that was Kyle Walker, we'd all be diving in on Kyle Walker. I think that, to fair me as well, I think I have said before, sometimes you've got to give credit to a good pass and all that kind of stuff, with Kyle Walker being the victim, and I've defended him before on that point. It was a great cross from Semedo, and Rico was a yard back, and he was a yard or two back where he probably should have been. Yeah, mistake. I wonder what Guardiola will say. Will Guardiola say it's because we got caught so quickly on the switch, and he has this inverted hybrid role, so it's very hard to get back? I think people would argue, and I would argue, and maybe you can accuse me of bias if you want to. I would argue Rico Lewis's role is much more complicated than Kyle Walker's. Kyle stays wide, Rico goes in midfield, so it's a little bit... Getting back in there is a bit harder, but still he has to be in the right position. And we got one thing I would say, the biggest issue for me of that goal, by the way, is not Rico Lewis' position. It's how easy our press is to break. City have gone from being a team that was very hard to beat the press of. It's really fucking easy now. It's really easy. Like, teams beat our press so easy. And that was what caused that goal. They just got the ball out to Semedo so easy, man. And then he had all the time in the world to amble up on that right wing and put in a lovely cross, but it was too easy for him. Really easy. And really easy for Wolves to get past us. And that's happening time and time again where they're getting through. And then who was it who went through and goal? Someone else went through and goal. Might have been Semedo, I don't know. Oh no, was it Mateus Cunha? Someone went through and goal and they should have scored as well. Yeah, and I don't know, I wasn't sure about it at all. William Dittman with the super chat. Oh my guys, I feel rough. I'm gonna have to end this video soon. I feel so weak. It says the Barnsley Beckenbauer strikes again. Big up. I wanted to be on bigup.com that way today, but I'm just just not up for it at all. Yeah, he did indeed. John Stones, Arsenal now this today. Johnny, I love you, mate. Sometimes it's all about winning. If you can't find a way, you can't play well, find a way. Brian as well with the super chat says, anyone missing the 18-19 days, how we kept playing the ball into the box and getting tap-ins? Felt so frustrated with all the cutbacks today. To be honest, we actually got the ball for the cutback an awful lot, but the difference is we didn't have David Silva or Kevin De Bruyne playing it. It was always those, or the experience of the quality of Sane or Sterling in those days. And we don't have that right now. We don't have David Silva, we don't have Kevin De Bruyne, and we definitely don't have Sane or Sterling from those days either. We just don't have that quality. We don't have that quality. We have a very different way of solving it. But so basically, today wasn't great. It wasn't great. You can accuse me of daydreaming, but I really will just sort of... I'll wait to see what Guardiola can do. I think the circumstances right now... If I was to ask you, injury-free, what's our best midfield? I guess a lot of you would say Rodri, Foden, and De Bruyne. None of those three started today. One's not here all season. God knows how long. One is who knows when the other's back. And the other, for whatever reason, is not working right now, Foden. So we're basically, the midfield is so far from what I think it should be. And if I think about what makes a great Guardiola side, it's a great midfield. And we haven't got a great midfield right now. We've got a good midfield. It's still a good midfield. You can turn around and say it's shite. It might be crap compared to City standards, but it's still a good midfield. It is, but it's not a great midfield. Like Kovacic, Bernardo Silva, Gundogan is not a great midfield. It's a decent one. It's a good one. It's a top four one, yeah. But it's not a brilliant midfield that I think is going to control every single game. And that is the difference where I think like City's level is that high. So yeah, that's the reality there. Doku didn't have much. I don't think Doku was terrible. I think a lot of people had to go at him, but he created a couple of chances. He actually did, to be fair. He tried, but it didn't come off for him. I wasn't sure about Savinho going on the left at all. He had a decent game, Savinho. Haaland was non-existent today, unfortunately. Gvardiol, of course, did special things yet again. And I thought Jack had a really nice cameo when he came on. Jack's cameo here, in how many minutes? 17 minutes, 95% pass accuracy, 27 touches, 3 key passes. Yeah, shots on target 1, but that, he was creating he was getting loads of joy finding the overlap and running and all that kind of stuff. And Núñez, of course, as well, had a good contribution with a proper good recovery challenge and got back as well. Look, I think City have got problems right now. But I think we have to be patient and just see it out and ride the punches, because we've lost the best player in the world. We've lost the best creator in the world right now. Hopefully De Bruyne is back soon. Hopefully Ake's back soon. Hopefully Oscar Bob is back ahead of recovery. And I really aggressively think we have to go into the market in January. I think we do. For someone, we have to. But hope the decides for me is that we're still finding a way to win. You know, we are ahead of Arsenal by 3 points clear of Arsenal. Liverpool play tomorrow against Chelsea. Who Liverpool got? No, they play today, don't they? They play now. Yeah, they play right now, Liverpool. Let's hope Chelsea can do something there, because if so, we'll be top of the table. So as much as this has been a disaster, we played a bunch of very good teams, some poor ones too, and we're top of the table and we're unbeaten. So I'll take that for now. Guys, I'm going to rest up because I'm knackered. 5 things learned tomorrow. In a bit. Love you all loads. Bye-bye.